Now I'm going to try this with this other bridge, but it's shorter, so maybe I should just stick with this one here. Did that help any when I took that credit card out from under it? I'm not really sure it did. Nothing I could do, wouldn't hurt, is try adjusting the head tension. Pretty good and snug right there. That one's loose, that was loose, loose. Still not there yet. So I think that an old guy who spent his life working on old cars with points and plugs and carburetors and all kinds of stuff that needed to be adjusted and fiddled with makes a perfect banjo guy, because there's a lot of stuff to be messed with on a banjo and to be changed and to be fiddled with. And I'll give you a good example. This thing was buzzing and it wasn't sounding right. And I had this wooden stick driven into between the stick that the neck sits on and the square hole that goes through. And that pushed the neck up. And I mentioned when I was doing this that you could change that stick, change that where that fits in that hole and change the sound. Well, I took, when I put this on there, it was set so that the strings buzzed on the first 2 frets. So I put a capo on there and I never did get that right. So I took this out and I dropped this neck down and I found this little piece of nylon, which is actually a drawer divider for these things. I had some credit cards, I was fooling with them, but I just slid this little piece of nylon in between the neck and this tone ring, and that made everything pretty much come out right as far as the way it sounds. I was able to take off that capo, and now I've got the string going all the way up to the nut up here instead of being capoed down here. And of course I'm still tuning it. And and that's the next thing I have to do. Is these are friction tuners, and they work by friction, and you have to turn them so they're tight enough to have some friction, otherwise they won't hold. But there's so much to mess with on a banjo, and I think the trick is don't give up. Just keep experimenting until you find what makes your banjo sound the best. I need a better screwdriver. This one has, remember I told you earlier, if you've been watching that long, that this first fret was too low, and it was messing with these. Well, this one is too, let me say that different. This one was too high, this one is too low. And the reason it's too low, if you look at the gap, you see how deep that gap is? Well, that's a damaged nut. Now you can fix that by, you can drop some super glue down in there, but you can also do a quick fix by taking something like a little piece of paper. This might do here, a little piece of paper, and set it in that crack right there where the string is. I might need a different kind of piece of paper, something a little smaller. Let's try this. Let's just take this piece of paper right here. And the problem is this string is touching this fret. So if I raise this string up here, then it won't bother with that fret there. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a piece of paper under the string. I'm just going to lift that string up. I'm going to set that paper in there. Now what is happening is this string is resting on that paper, which is raising it up above that fret so that it's not rattling, not making that ugly rattle noise. So let's try tuning this again. This one is still loose. I may wind up replacing some of these pegs. In fact, I may wind up putting some geared pegs on this banjo, because it's a good banjo. Not really a bad neck either. It could use it. I guess what I'm saying is it deserves something better. Mike could just loosen these and retighten them, because they may just be full of gump, full of crap. This fifth string peg also needs some work. This is the fifth string nut. There's no groove in that nut, so that string is just laying behind this raised up piece right here. There should be a notch in this, and I should be able to run the string through that notch. There may be a notch in there, but it may be turned the wrong way. My eyes aren't real good, so I may be limited in my ability to see that. It looks like there is a notch there. I can't really see enough. So what I could do if I had a really small file, a really skinny file, is try to cut a deeper groove in that. let's try to get by with it for now. I can fine tune that a little later. Now you notice that started buzzing again. I'll tell you why. When I tuned that string, see where the piece of paper is now? The piece of paper moved when the string moved, so it's not underneath this right at that bridge now. So I can pick this up, slide it back, and put it back on there. But I need the point where this string touches to match up with that point. Otherwise, if you've got if you change the location of the nut, you change the string tension. I may wind up dropping some super glue into that, and letting it harden, and then recutting a groove. So I just redoubled that piece of paper. There you go. Sounds clear there now.